Welcome back in to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems, East Tennessee's #1 source for security and entertainment needs. Folks, if you need a doorbell camera, if you need a full security system for your office or your business, big or small, Safety Systems can handle it. They've got their little sticker and their little sign in front of homes and businesses all over East Tennessee. Do yourself a favor. Count this week how many drive-thrus you go through, how many buildings you walk into that have the Safety Systems placard right there in the window. There's a reason they're all over Knoxville. They're the best. SafetySystems.com. Call VFL J.J. Surlis and his team this week. All right, want to remind you of our poll question right here if we can. Basketball. My plea, my argument with math did nothing. So basketball, 71% of you feel better now about Tennessee making a Final Four this year than 29% of you who feel better about the football team making the playoffs in 2024. Interesting. All right, that's good news or bad news for Rick Barnes. All right, the snow, ice, rain of the last 2 weeks have slowed construction at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Vince, will the work be completed in time for the start of the season, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think there's a definitive on it. I think they're going to try to make up some ground, but it's still probably a little bit more feasible to do it because they are starting on the road. They're in Texas for their season opening weekend, so. I guess a worst case scenario, you can move maybe some midweek games against lesser competition. I don't think that's in play just yet, but it has been slowed down. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, okay. And here's the thing. They can't afford more bad weather.
Right.
And this is East Tennessee, where we get a lot of bad weather. All right. Jimmy, let me go with you. Construction continues for another offseason at Neyland Stadium. It now looks like the orange and white game will be either not played, as they didn't have one that was open to the public 2 years ago, or they just won't have one, period. A lot of these coaches, that's a day for fans. That's a day for the athletic director, the athletic department, in this case, athletic director Danny White, to make a little more cash. But they have their own scrimmages that they put more into. That last one's just kind of icing on the cake. What do you think Tennessee should do? If they can't get in there, should they move it somewhere else, or should they just punt on the whole thing this year?
I guess there's a part of me that thinks you could move it somewhere else and play it, because I think if you went to the Tri-Cities, you would have a lot of folks that would come out to watch them that maybe don't get to see them. If you go to the Mid-State, which they're recruiting the heck out of now, maybe you have an opportunity to get some fans over there. So I would play it at another site.
I wonder how difficult that is, though, to come in and rent somebody else's facility. I mean, does East Tennessee State say, yeah, come in and take over our facility? Because they're doing spring too. Do the Titans just hand it over? I don't know.
Well, especially when you're not charging an admission to get in, for the most part too, right? I will say, I think this is a massive missed opportunity for Tennessee if they're not able to hold this, because the excitement around Nico, I mean, we're seeing our social media numbers just from that bowl game up 80%, and there aren't football games being paid. That's not played. That's not something that happens. Also, do you remember last year, that crowd that was there? That was a massive opportunity, and I thought Tennessee did a great job of getting non-revenue sports athletes out in front of the fans, basketball team out in front of the fans. It was a great day for Tennessee, and if you don't have that opportunity with all the excitement around Nico, I think that's a problem.
Well, you can Tennessee baseball is hosting LSU that weekend, so imagine even bigger connecting the two. That's something when Tony Vitello was building the program and trying to get people in the stadium, having that spring game at the same time would be huge.
I think I would like to see them play it somewhere in the mid-state, but I mean, where do you go? Where do you go? I mean, it almost has to be either Vanderbilt, Nissan Stadium, or Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah.
MTSU wants you there.
They're all going to have spring practice. It's got to be.
So I mean, it is a tricky situation.
Now, at the same time, spring games mean nothing, and at some point in time, we're within 2 or 3 years.
But they do mean what you're talking about, though. They do mean interest. They do mean fans. They do mean getting closer to your program.
Fantastic PR.
They don't mean anything for your team, but they mean something for you.
Danny White strikes me as the kind of guy that thinks if he can sell a Coke, then we're going to open the doors and sell a Coke. I mean, he seems to like money, and he's pretty good at gaining the money. That's not a knock. That's a credit to him.
Mountain Dew spring game.
Yeah, sponsor the thing. Yeah. All right. When we come back, Mel Kiper has 3 volunteers in the top 10 of their positions in the NBA draft, in the NFL draft. Do we agree with his views? Come on back. We'll tell you what they are next.